actually I worked in radio for 2 years before I got into this.
Yeah.
So
tell us about your time at the Bear, right?
Yeah, the local NRV stations. Yeah, 105.3 the Bear. That was a surreal experience for me because I love music. I grew up actually listening to like a lot of country music, the older stuff. That's what my dad and them played in the car a lot. So, it's generally what I grew up with.
Right.
And then
the Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson type stuff.
Toby Keith was a big part of it too, you know? And so then eventually I got into, this all comes back to video games. I got into the old Guitar Hero, where you had the plastic guitar, controller. Got into rock music through that. And so naturally I found the Bear, which is the rock station. And shout out to them.
Yep. Shout out to Drez.
Hey, yep.
My buddy.
And they, I would go to bed, like it was around like 10 o'clock every night. They would have, I got into listening to a lot of Metallica. That was that was the big thing for me. Huge. I'm a huge Metallica fan.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll see me in a few Metallica shirts around here, I'm sure.
Nice.
But they, the Bear would do something called mandatory Metallica, 10 o'clock every night. I'd make sure I was in bed to turn on the radio and listen to that before I went to sleep. They would play about 2 to 3 Metallica songs on there. That was my bread and butter.
That's hilarious. Like you wouldn't think that Metallica would be the type of music that would want to put you to sleep. Metallica is the type of music that you would want to wake up to. You'd want that rush of like energy that you would get from the Metallica. Like they're not singing lullabies.
No, they're not. But they're also not like screaming necessarily at you. It's a weird balance there. Yeah. So that was always something really cool. And to be able to work at that station, at that environment for a few years, that was really cool. And I got my start doing behind the scenes work, making sure stuff worked and everything. I would run the boards, the audio boards, kind of like what we have here for sporting events and stuff. And, for a lot of Virginia Tech games and stuff, that's where they were the flagship station for Virginia Tech sports. Yeah. I sound like an advertisement now.
Yeah, you hit that one right on. You hit that one right on.
I heard the advertisement playing in my head just now.
Yeah. But flagship station for the Virginia Tech Hokies. Yeah.
105.3 the Bear.
Yeah. Get it.
That's it. Yeah. It's actually kind of cool. The voice guy for that. Yeah. We actually looked up, like the radio stations have, this is a side topic, but they have like those voice guys that have to do the really cool like sound effects and stuff. Yeah. That guy for the Bear actually does vlogs, and that's actually how he talks too. So to hear him talking,
so he never lets his radio voice go.
Basically, no, that's the way he is.
Yeah,
that's really cool. But yeah, going back to the what interested me there is, so after I kind of got done with the running the boards and everything, they kind of started letting me do some DJ work on there. So I got to get on there and actually do a lot of, talking in between songs and taking some requests.
So they let you be a personality on live air.
Yeah,
nice.
And like for the most, going live is always a really cool part of it.
Yeah,
because you get that interaction. You are talking in kind of like the live streaming stuff. You are talking to somebody in real time in their car, and they are listening to you. There's a lot of people out there that are tuning into that stuff. A lot of people like to stream music, but there's also a lot of people that still like to listen to the radio. They like to kind of let the radio pick what they listen to, which is always kind of nice too. I was like that for a while.
For me, this live stuff that we do, it puts the proper amount of pressure on me to deliver, because I know I'm getting scrutinized in the moment. Like a lot of people don't want that pressure, but it's come to like I'm accustomed to the pressure, and that's the only way that I can deliver is on live. We probably could do this that's not live, and make sure that it's edited really clean and everything like that. I just don't know that it would be as authentic. Yeah. And that's why, we've got 56 or 46 shows in this thing now, and I couldn't imagine doing it any different.
Right.
Just because, when the lights are on, I feel like I can't drop the ball, and it's easy to drop the ball. And you have excuses to drop the ball if we're off live, like we can just redo that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, there's less pressure. There's like when you're doing that in editing and everything. And that's actually something too. So it's funny you mentioned that with the live thing. So eventually I also did the country stuff too on the country station for it's a WPSK. Mm-hmm. So that was actually pretty cool too. Of course, a lot of the country stuff nowadays isn't exactly my bread and butter, but that's aside from the fact it was still a cool opportunity. And the Bear was really what I was really just completely starstruck to be on, you know.
Right.
And like meeting Drez, like, you know, mention him and stuff like there. It's really cool to meet the guy that you hear on the radio like that. And so I was on there mostly on weekends. Eventually they put me on middays, so it was 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So I was doing that kind of lunchtime drive time on the radio. And then eventually, well, let's see, it was before or even that, I was hired on full time over there to produce a sports talk show. Now, for me, I'm not a sports guy,
right?
So it must have been I must have been able to make something sound like good, I guess, for them to put me on there. But I kind of provided the layman's terms for a lot of the sports like mumbo jumbo they were throwing out there. So
you were the common no real depth of knowledge, basic type sports information thing.
Yeah, so it kind of forced whoever was on the other side of the table from me, who was really the host of the show. It kept them, you know, grounded. You know, kept them, the dynamic there kept it to where, you know, if this were like a real estate show and you were just throwing out crazy real estate facts and I was also a real estate guy, that would work. But for me, you know, if you're trying to have a conversation with me, being able to explain that in common terms to somebody who doesn't have a huge base knowledge of it is really important. And that's what drew a lot of people into the sports shows. And eventually it got moved to the mornings. So I was waking up 5 a.m.,
Brutal.
Going in there 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. doing that sports show in the mornings. We were up before the sun back, you know, pretty much. So that was a cool thing as well. So like you said, since you're doing it live, you are held accountable for it. You know, you can't go back on something you say on there. I mean, you can apologize, but you still said it.
Yeah.
And that's what, you know, you don't, it's really authentic in that way. You don't get that local content anywhere else, especially like something like this as well. There's a lot of room, like, just to really grow and expand something because you don't get that. You really don't. You can go on a podcast on a national scale or something. Sure, you're going to get cool content, but you're not going to get something that's like your hometown, you know, this is like something regional. You are, you know, this is exclusive to this area. Yeah. And I think that's really special about this here is like, this is something that can really has a lot of potential.